The air was thick, humming with anticipation. I felt his gaze steady, intense. He'd been patient, waiting, holding back, but not anymore. I turned, meeting his eyes. He wasn't just watching now. I lifted my fingers, just a quiet invitation. His breath caught, his body tensed, and then he got up. Before we jump in, please do me a quick favor, like this video and hit subscribe. It's free, takes only a second, and helps more than you think. Plus, you'll never miss the next story. Now let's get started. His hands rested against my waist, holding me close as our bodies moved together. Every deep breath, every subtle movement, kept my skin warm with lingering energy. "Don't stop," I murmured, my voice barely above a breath. The tension between us built, lingering, until my body relaxed completely against his. He let out a slow breath, pulling me close as we settled into the quiet comfort of the moment. For a while we just lay there, the warmth between us lingering. His fingers traced slow circles along my back, his chest rising and falling in steady waves. But something about the silence felt different. I turned my head slightly, watching him. "You're quiet," I said. He let out a soft chuckle. "Just thinking." I smirked, letting my fingertips graze his skin. His hesitation was barely noticeable, but I caught it. "How good that was," I laughed softly, curling against him. "Yeah, it was." My fingers traced idle patterns over his skin. "But have you ever thought about making it even better?" His breath hitched slightly. "Better?" I propped myself up on one elbow, watching him carefully. "We've always been adventurous, but what if we took it a step further?" His body tensed just for a second. It was subtle, but I noticed. That only made me more curious. "Come on," I coaxed, tilting my head. "I know you thought about it." His gaze met mine, something flickering behind his eyes. A pause, then after a long exhale he spoke. "There is something," he admitted, voice low. I arched a brow, anticipation curling in my stomach. "Tell me." He ran a hand through his hair. "I want to see you experience something different." Blink. "Different." His lips parted as if choosing his words carefully, then finally, "Yes, but not another man. A woman." The words settled between us, thick in the air. I swallowed, my pulse quickening. I wasn't sure if the heat rising in my chest was nerves or something far more dangerous. I opened my mouth, but no words came because I wasn't sure how I felt about it. I couldn't shake the thought. It clung to me, slipping into my mind when I least expected it. Lying in bed, moving through my morning routine, even when I tried to focus on something else. His words had sparked something I couldn't ignore. First, it felt absurd. I had never considered something like this. The idea of being with another woman, especially with him watching, should have been easy to dismiss. But it wasn't. The more I thought about it, the less strange it seemed. Curiosity crept in, quiet but persistent. It wasn't just the idea itself that lingered. It was the way he would look at me. The way it might change things between us. Would it? That question lingered more than I wanted to admit. Doubts pressed against the edges of my excitement. What if I went through with it and liked it too much? What if it made him see me differently? What if it made me see myself differently? It felt like stepping into something unknown, something I couldn't fully predict. And yet beneath the uncertainty, something else stirred. A quiet thrill, the kind that lingered each time I thought about it. He had wanted this, that much was clear. And if I was honest with myself, I wanted to know what it would feel like to give him what he wanted. The hesitation was still there, but it wasn't enough to stop me. I was going to do it. I didn't know how and I didn't know who, but I knew one thing. This wasn't just his fantasy anymore. Now it was mine too. The following days passed in a blur. I told myself not to overthink it. I had made my decision, but once I did, the anticipation only grew. Every glance at him, every casual touch, made the excitement more real. I wasn't just agreeing to his fantasy. I was taking control of it. By the time I had everything arranged, the nerves were gone, replaced with something even more thrilling: exhilaration. The right person, the right time, the perfect way to reveal it. And now all that was left was watching his reaction. That morning, as we lay in bed, I rolled over to face him, my fingers tracing light patterns over his skin. He was still half asleep, his breathing slow and steady, unaware of the storm brewing inside me. I leaned in, my voice soft but firm. "I need you to be home by 8 tonight. No questions, just trust me." His eyes flickered open, a lazy smile tugging at his lips. "What's happening at 8? I met his gaze, holding it just long enough to let curiosity sink in. "You'll see." His brows lifted slightly, but I could see the intrigue take hold. He wanted to ask more, but he knew me well enough to recognize when I wasn't going to give in. "All right," he finally said, stretching as he exhaled. "I'll be here." Because by tonight, his fantasy would no longer be just a fantasy. Evening came quicker than I expected. I met him at the door, my pulse steady, but just beneath the surface, something buzzed inside me. Anticipation, nerves, something I couldn't quite name. He didn't know what was waiting for him, and that made it all the more exhilarating. His brow lifted slightly as I took his hand, offering nothing more than a knowing smile. "Come with me," I murmured, leading him down the hall. The door was already slightly ajar, the dim light spilling into the hallway. The moment we stepped inside, I felt the shift, the charged air, the weight of expectation. And then he saw her. She was already waiting, poised on the edge of the bed. Her posture effortless, the kind of confidence that made it clear she belonged there. Her gaze flickered over him briefly before settling on me, something unreadable flashing behind her eyes. I heard the slow inhale my husband took, saw the way his body tensed ever so slightly. He wasn't just watching. He was absorbing every detail, processing what this meant, what was about to happen. And then she moved. Her fingers brushed against my wrist first, just a light touch, barely there, then higher, tracing up my arm, deliberate and teasing. I turned toward her, instinctively drawn in. My breath caught as her palm smoothed over my skin. There was something different about this. New, unfamiliar, but intoxicating. The first kiss was soft, slow, exploratory, a tender meeting of lips, testing before deepening into something more. My body responded before my mind could catch up, leaning into her touch, my hands finding their way to her waist, feeling the warmth of her beneath my fingertips. A quiet exhale came from behind me, low and controlled, but unmistakable. I didn't have to turn to know he was watching, that he was feeling every second of this as much as I was. We took our time, savoring the slow unraveling. Her hands moved with purpose, slipping beneath fabric, guiding me inch by inch into something deeper. Every brush of skin sent another ripple of warmth through me, the slow build of discovery making me shudder. And then she took the lead. Her lips left mine, tracing a slow, deliberate path, savoring every touch. I barely registered the sensation of my shirt slipping away, of fingers boasting over newly exposed skin. Every movement was controlled, effortless, as if she was attuned to every response I gave. I felt her mouth at my collarbone first, then lower, tracing along the curve of my torso with deliberate care. My breath faltered as she explored with unhurried precision, the sensation sending shivers through me. A light, lingering touch at my hips sent a shiver through me, my body reacting instinctively. There was no rush, only the careful unraveling of anticipation, a slow building heat that had me holding my breath. And then her touch grew more intentional. A rush of warmth spread through me, making my breath catch. My breathing grew uneven, every motion drawing me further under, lost in the sensations around me. Her rhythm never faltered, a steady pace that built upon itself. Each deliberate motion kept me suspended in the moment. A sound from across the room, low and strained, broke through the haze, and I turned my head slightly. My vision blurred at the edges. My husband, he was still in the chair, but barely. His hands gripped the arms tightly, his chest rising and falling with measured restraint. His gaze was locked onto me, his expression unreadable, but everything about him, his posture, his tension, spoke volumes. He was barely holding himself together. The air felt thick, weighted with unspoken understanding. He wasn't just watching anymore. He was caught in this just as much as I was. I met his gaze, my fingers reaching toward him, the movement small but deliberate. It was nothing more than an invitation, a quiet acknowledgement that his presence mattered just as much as everything else in this moment. His hands loosened, his body tensed, and then finally he got up. The moment he stepped forward, the energy in the room shifted. I felt it before I even saw him, the weight of his presence, the heat of his skin as he came close. His hands found my waist, fingers pressing in just enough to send a quiet thrill through me. When I looked up, his eyes were already on mine, dark, intense, filled with something unspoken. Then his lips were on mine. The kiss was deep, filled with everything words couldn't express. A slow pull, a quiet surrender. I melted against him, his warmth surrounding me as his hands traced my back. "Thank you," he murmured, his voice low against my lips. A shiver ran down my spine, not just from his words, but from the way he said them, like this moment was everything he had ever wanted. And then she moved. A shift on the bed. The weight of her presence felt before I even turned my head. She was watching him, watching us. A slow, knowing smile curved her lips. There was no hesitation in her gaze, no uncertainty, just quiet confidence as she leaned in, fingers trailing over his stomach, lower, until he let out a sharp exhale. I didn't look away as she kissed down his body, her touch exploring, teasing. My lips stayed on his, my hands tangled in his hair, feeling the quiet tremor that ran through him. His breath was heavier now, slower, his body reacting to every delicate movement she made. His fingers tightened on my back as she grew more focused, a deep sound slipping from his throat. I felt his breath catch against my lips. His reaction sent something electric through me. The way his body tensed, the way his fingers dug into my hips, as if he needed something to ground himself. It was intoxicating to watch, to feel him react to every slow movement, every shift in his breath. And then, as if drawn by an invisible force, I moved with her. My lips followed a slow, deliberate path, trailing down his jaw, the soft curve of his neck, feeling the steady beat of his pulse beneath my lips. The warmth of his skin burned against me, urging me deeper into the sensation, drawing me closer. I lowered my kisses, each one a silent promise, my lips brushing against the delicate skin, until I was beside her. We were in sync, our movements flowing together in quiet understanding, a shared connection that needed no words. His head fell back, his chest rising and falling with each shallow breath. His body seemed to surrender to the moment, lost in the growing intensity between us. His breathing became uneven, ragged, and each sound he made, a low groan, a sharp inhale, sent a fresh wave of heat through me, pulling me deeper into this tangled moment. It was as if time had slowed down, and all that existed was the weight of his presence, the pulse of his breath, and the tension building with every second. I could feel it. His body, taut with anticipation, his hands gripping the sheets so tightly his knuckles whitened. But this wasn't the end. We weren't finished yet. A shift, a change in position. She moved with grace, shifting on the bed, her presence now beneath me. I could feel the heat of her breath against my skin, warm and soft. She guided me, her hands coaxing me gently into place, leading me with intention. A sharp inhale left my lips, the sensation of her touch sending a rush of electricity through my body as she began. My fingers dug into the sheets, gripping them tightly, as the slow, teasing strokes of her hands dragged me under, forcing me to surrender to the sensation. Every movement she made pulled me further into the moment, the slow unraveling of control making my head fall back in pleasure. And then there was him, the weight of his body against hers, pressing down, his presence heavy and deliberate. I could feel the intensity of his every movement, the deep exhale that slipped from his lips as he moved with purpose. his intentions clear and unwavering. A quiet gasp escaped her lips, her breath hitching as she felt the weight of his body, the rhythm of their connection. I felt every shift beneath me, each small deliberate motion, and his presence steady and unyielding, holding us all in place. The intensity of it all was undeniable. The charged air, the steady rhythm, the quiet urgency of our movements, it all built to something far greater than any of us had anticipated. The way he moved with her, the way they fit together, it was like watching a dance of pure passion, a silent promise that we weren't done yet. It was overwhelming, intoxicating, as if every touch, every shift, was pulling me deeper into something I couldn't quite describe yet couldn't escape. His hands steadied her, every subtle shift she made drawing a reaction beneath me. I could feel the warmth of her breath, soft and steady, against my skin. Her hands, graceful and confident, moved with a sense of purpose, while the delicate brush of her lips against me sent a jolt of electricity through my entire body. It was all too much, a heady mix of sensations so intense it seemed to blur my very thoughts. An intoxicating combination that sent my pulse racing, my heart hammering in my chest, leaving me on the edge of something wild, something I couldn't control. But in that chaos of emotions and desire, it was him that undid me. His gaze, intense and unwavering, was locked onto mine. Dark, heavy, filled with so many unspoken thoughts and emotions that it felt like he was seeing right through me. The way his eyes burned with that deep, unrelenting focus sent shivers running down my spine, reverberating through every fiber of my being. Each movement he made, slow and deliberate, rippled through the space between us, sending shudders that echoed in both of us, as if the connection we shared was both physical and undeniable. But it was the way he never looked away, the way his eyes remained fixed on mine, that truly unraveled me. It was the way he reached for me, his fingers brushing against my skin, tender and sure, a silent promise of everything to come. And when his lips finally captured mine, when he kissed me with a quiet urgency, that was the moment that completely shattered the walls I had built around myself. My body tensed, my breath catching in my throat as the sensation of his kiss, of his touch, overtook me completely. I was lost in the moment, in the overwhelming tide of emotions and pleasure that swept over me in powerful waves. I wasn't alone. He wasn't just here with me. He was inside this moment, feeling everything I felt. He groaned deeply, the sound coming from somewhere deep within him, primal and raw. His grip tightened around me, pulling me closer, as if he needed to feel the full weight of this moment too. His body trembled, not with uncertainty, but with the force of the passion we were both caught up in, consumed by. His voice, low and rough, broke through the haze, saying my name in a way that made everything inside me flutter. The sound of it lingered, hanging in the air between us like a sweet promise. And then there was silence, the kind of silence that wraps around you like a cocoon, soft and intimate. His forehead pressed against mine, the heat of his breath still uneven against my skin. I could feel the tension slowly ebbing away, replaced by something quieter, more satisfied. A slow, contented exhale slipped from his lips, a sound that spoke of release, of fulfillment. I let out a small, breathless laugh, my fingers still tangled in the sheets beneath us, grasping at the reality of what had just happened. I turned my head slightly, my lips brushing against his ear, the softest whisper of a kiss. "Happy. Breathe." His arms wrapped around me then, pulling me close, pressing me to him with a sense of finality, of quiet joy. He kissed my shoulder, lingering there, as though trying to savor every second of the connection we'd shared. "More than you know," he murmured, his voice thick with emotion, carrying the weight of everything unsaid between us. Some thoughts stay locked away forever, hidden in the corners of our minds. But what if the best ones are meant to come true? Have you ever had a secret wish you never shared with anyone? And if you did, what happened when you finally revealed it? I want to know. Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and I'm genuinely curious about your thoughts. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and hit subscribe. It's free, takes just a second, and ensures that you never miss the next story. Turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know when a new one drops. If you enjoyed this, share it with someone who'd love it too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for staying with us. If you find it interesting and useful, please subscribe, like, and thanks.